Welcome to Retirement Bliss, the podcast that unlocks the secrets to your dream retirement. Join us as we unveil unconventional strategies guaranteed to fortify your financial future. From MPI to compound counts, cash value to tax-free solutions. Prepare to be amazed by game-changing ideas that will revolutionize your approach to retirement planning. Plus, we'll be joined by industry experts who will share their invaluable insights. Tune in and embark on the journey to retirement bliss with Carolyn Blossel and Miri Cordaro.
I lost you.
The first time we did it, hi everybody first, because we have a technical difficulty today, but I need to figure out why we're not on. Maybe I don't understand that. We need to figure
when we don't come up right away.
I don't know why. I will figure it out after this week for sure.
I just think it's a great example. We just keep moving forward. All of us have
keep falling.
Yeah.
Forward. That's what it is. And
exactly. And her voice cracks me up. So if nothing else, I'm like, is she talking like this underwater?
I know. I do. I feel like she clipped her nose, but we're going to change it. I cannot take that voice anymore. But anyway, hi, Caroline. How are you today?
I am so good, Miri. It's always great to be with you. And I love just having a chance to talk about things we're both passionate about, which has to do with financial education and how does money work and how can we do better and how can we get more people doing better and creating the life they love.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, that's it's. I know because I feel the pain of consequences, so I do understand what you're talking about. But today you came up with this amazing idea for a topic of parents really have the responsibility, truly the responsibility to educate their kids, because we know the school system won't do it. Mind you, even colleges, people coming out with degrees and all kind of things, and they really don't understand about finance. They're not ready for this world, how to operate in a way that they can succeed. So let's start that.
Great. I love it. I love this topic. I will add that my oldest son has 5 children. They're range in ages from 5 to 13, which means that a lot of what I'm learning about or continue to study is I'm always thinking of his kids. What do he and his wife, what could they be implementing so that their children, by the time they're leaving the nest, really have some sound financial concepts, practices, beliefs in place, because I am seeing how it doesn't just magically happen. It's
the opposite.
Effort.
You find yourself in the other side of it, the flip coin of it. You're not prepared. That's it.
And you find out with bad experiences or frustrating experiences or living in a way that's well beneath your capability or how you really want to live life. So I thought I'd share with everyone the newest book that I'm always reading a book. My mom's she's even commented to me like, how do you know all these things? But I am a sponge for what did I miss? Where I am in life, and I think you could agree too, is okay, if I missed it, there's got to be other people missing these important principles, and how can we get them out to people so that they won't go so long without recognizing things that they really need to know that they're not paying attention to.
So true. And I know that we're not really only focusing on female, as we spoke a little bit prior our recording. I really think that it's for everybody, but really I feel my heart is for women, because I think, and not in purpose, really, it's not really contemplated. It's like, we become moms and we take care of our kids. And a lot of us, I believe, like me, I know I've been there, not really involved with the financial. I know some do, but I think the majority don't. So they really don't know what's out there, what's your husband already have in place. Maybe if you learn, you can help. So I think it's really important to, and I think it's very empowering. It's so
Oh,
empowering when you
absolutely.
know.
Well,
So,
I mean, we all know the phrase two heads are better than one. And why do we think
mhm.
that one head is all that's needed when it comes to
Oh,
planning for
yeah,
our future and handling
absolutely.
our investing portfolios, etc. And I am part of a initiative here in Utah called Boulder Way Forward, because the reality in Utah is that women are very underserved financially. They're underserved. There's a great degree of domestic abuse and sexual abuse in the state, and also just women who are struggling. And one of the statistics they cited was that the thing that weighs on women the most is financial stability.
Absolutely. And I absolutely agree. Even to be transparent in my experience in my life, um, life happened. We don't know. I mean, honestly, in the last 7 years, I can tell so much happened in my life in such a short time that I'm
Yeah.
thinking like, oh my gosh, you just don't know. You don't know what tomorrow will bring. That's why we always say pay yourself first. Start as early as you can. Do not say tomorrow, tomorrow. No, because tomorrow might never happen.
No,
So
and there's and that's why women stay in bad situations. They just don't know how to be on their own. And that's also part of the statistics that I've just been reading about recently, is many of those women in the workplace have children 5 and under.
I
And
know,
and
isn't it
they're working
hard?
at jobs with the lowest paying jobs as well. So in fact, I read one article today that it was predicted there's going to be more and more women in the workplace, and these are going to be young single moms.
And you
Uh,
know what? It's sad. It
it's
really is
very
sad because even though I'm all for women to be educated and yeah, participate in the workplace, but I personally believe that moms should be in at least a certain amount of years with their children.
yes,
Can you imagine a generation that we're raising with no parents really actually taking really full-time job with their one of the parents, in my opinion, have to be, because then we kind of raising, then we leave the raising of our children to somebody else. And I know it's not judgment, it's I know that some people just don't have a choice.
yeah.
And that's the hard part.
Well, or they don't see what choices they do have. And that's where this book that I'm reading now, and it was written quite a while ago. I came across the author because she was speaking at a She Money. It's a national organization. Actually, it might be worldwide. I'm not quite sure, but they had a convention here in Salt Lake City. Wasn't able to attend because of the other one I was attending. But I looked at who the speaking roster was and started looking up some of these speakers. And the one was Jolene Godfrey. And her focus has been, how do we teach our children, and how do families teach their children about money? And one of the books that she wrote is called, it's this called No More Frogs to Kiss, meaning as women, we can't expect to have a life like the fairy tale where we kiss the frog, he turns into this charming prince, he
Right.
ride off on the white horse into the sunsets to his castle,
Exactly.
and have this charming life with all the money that we need. And oftentimes
Absolutely.
women will think that's what they're said yes to, only to find out it was a shack and it was a beat up car that they were going off into the sunset in. And not to say that there's necessarily anything wrong with that, but their point is, the author in this book is saying we need to empower women in all that they're capable of, and to not have them stay in a situation because they don't feel empowered, they don't see other choices and opportunities.
You know what it reminds me though?
Hmm.
Interesting. Even in the Bible, Proverbs 31, it's describe a woman that's very, very capable. It's quite amazing. I mean, this is a proverb that, it shows how she handled a lot of things. And it just shows, even though you're thinking like Bible is like so old, ancient. And even there, women can bring a lot to the table. Like you said, two heads is better than, because women look at it doesn't matter what subject it is. I think we bring different aspect and just respect it, different angle almost, if you could say,
Yes.
to the table in any subject. So
Mhm.
I think it's like this is the first thing that came up in my mind. Proverbs 31. It's like an amazing description of a very powerful woman.
Yes, and I had my daughter just talk about how women are multipliers. You give us 3 ingredients and we're able to make dinner in
I
some way.
know, I know, I know. I always She's so true, because I'll tell you a quick story. I think the people are gonna love that. I remember my mom, and I think I got that from my mom. It simply was nothing in the refrigerator, really, honestly. And back home, uh, we would have visitors, like literally no calling, just coming in, just knocking on the door. Maybe it was be a nephew of hers that just had a service in the area. So, oh, I know my aunt, I'm gonna go drop by, right? She would make a fist, and I would look at her like, where did you bring all this?
Yeah,
You know
how
what
did
I mean?
you even
She was
think of
she's the queen of that. She can create nothing from air, like food
all of
galore.
a beautiful spread on the table?
I always was fascinated by that, and I think I got something from her. Sometimes I really look like in my refrigerator, I was like, it's really nothing. I'll sit and I break my, and then I come up with something. I'll come up with something,
I know it's true, and
our multiplier.
yeah, we are multipliers, and so this book, it was written in the early 90s, but it's taking examples of women who, whether they were immigrants, came from
Okay.
very little means, and how they built something that was very successful. And it goes back to just instilling within our children that they're really capable of a lot of things. And I was thinking about this as far as just how I've progressed in my thinking and my encouragement of my children.
Mhm.
And oftentimes, so for example, we're mothers. We've all had kids that have said, I need new shoes for this sport, or I need a dress for this dance or something. And we usually are kind of sighing because it's going to cost money that really isn't in the budget. And we're going to have to go shopping, and they're going to want a pair of shoes that are more than what we have means to purchase.
Yeah.
And the point that this author was making is we can handle the conversation with this question in return when they say they want a new something or other, that we can say, well, how do you think, what are some ideas of how we could have the means to be able to pay for that or to buy that thing?
Mhm.
So to start instilling the concept of, okay, if I want something, I have to do something to be able to have the means to get the thing I want.
You're right.
And
I'm not presuming that, yeah, I want it, then I can just buy it. Or I can
yeah,
have
you should buy it for me because you're my mom. You're supposed to have a bottomless
credit card, plastic.
pie.
I saw kids saying, "My mom, don't you have a credit card?"
Yeah.
Like, credit card is money. It's not for free,
Yeah, so here's another example. I have 2 girls and 6 sons. I don't remember my sons wanting to borrow each other's clothes because they more or less had the same attire they like to wear of just
Yeah.
sport clothes. But my girls were always fighting over, you wore my shirt. It's
Yeah.
all stretched out. You've ruined it. Or
Right.
something to that effect. And so one of the things that she teaches is the barter method, where okay, if you're going to borrow those blue jeans from your sister, what are you going to do in return for her?
Yeah.
For her to lend you those jeans, what
Exactly.
different
Well,
service that
that's a
you.
great idea.
And I thought that was a brilliant idea because that's really
Mhm.
how the economy works. It's a give and a
And you're
take.
teaching them from so young.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
you borrow, then you
Oh,
need to.
because the fights that would ensue over clothing borrowing. I don't know if that happened in your family, but sometimes it
Oh,
would.
are you kidding me? Of course. Of course. It's always, even my girls, when I raising when I was growing up, we were 4 girls. But I more remember, obviously, from my girls that they wanted to try, use each other.
Yeah, yeah, girls love outfit
Yeah.
and things. And sometimes your sister's got just the shirt that you think works perfectly with these pants or that skirt
Exactly.
or whatever. But I thought
It's a
that's
good lesson.
that it's helping kids to recognize that they have something to offer back. And so I loved this part of one of the chapters in the book, because here was the concept, overriding concept is that our world is changing in the context of, we were taught to go to school to get an education to prepare yourself to go find a job so that someone would hire you.
Exactly.
And instead, the concept is more about not how can I get hired by someone, but how can I create an opportunity to share my talents or my passion or the thing that I service that I've come up with as a solution. How can I create my own opportunity for work?
This is awesome. I would like maybe to park here for a minute, because this is so good and so perfectly goes with entrepreneurship. Even if you're working, I think, for somebody, I mean, it's like just having a different mindset can change the whole outlook of, because some people love their job. Let's put it that way. But it's not entrepreneurship. You work for somebody, but if you come with a mindset like that, it can change your trajectory, what you can do even inside of an environment like that, and what you can bring to the table.
Yes.
I love that. I absolutely
because I go back to, if you ask my kids and you mention the word paper route, they will all groan, roll their eyes, and go on a long laundry list of complaints about the years that we had a paper route. The thing was, well, it started first with my son when he was in elementary school, and a neighborhood kid had a paper route. It was like 40 newspapers. And I thought, this is a great way for my son. One of my boys really wanted to earn some money. And I think it was 4th grade at the time. And it was after school. He would ride his bike around the neighborhood, fling the papers. Well, then baseball season happened, and now delivering those papers right after school wasn't always possible because he had baseball practice. So then his sister's kind of delivering those papers, and then eventually I'm kind of delivering those papers. Mom always
oh my gosh. And then comes mom doing it.
Yeah. Well, so then the afternoon paper route became a morning paper route. The papers were delivered to our house, and you'd hear this big thud as the stacks of papers. And then, of course, 40 newspapers only makes a certain amount of money. And as a kid, it's not really covering the things you want to do.
Yeah.
And then when the opportunity to expand comes along, you think, okay, we could do more than 40 papers. It's in the morning. We have a little more time. There's not baseball practice, things like that. And then I noticed that we were always following this other car delivering some other newspapers. And then I get this brilliant idea. Well, as long as we're driving the same route, we might as well be delivering all those newspapers. So eventually we're not doing the 40 papers anymore. We're doing 200 papers. We're going to 2 different depots. I'm having to have some of my kids go to one depot to collect, and they're not delivered to our house anymore. And we're having to, we had 5 different papers that we were delivering.
Wow.
Each with a different delivery schedule. And we porched every single one, because if you had no complaints for the whole week, you got some
extra
bonus. And sometimes we'd fling the papers in, they'd go on the roof, they'd go in the gutter, they'd go in the window well, and I'm going home and getting a broom, putting my son on my shoulders, trying to get that newspaper or out of their window well and lifting him down in, but all for the sake of, I don't know, it was maybe $200 a week for this daily grind. What I didn't realize is, and I knew as a college graduate, I was above the newspaper deliverer career, but I felt like that was my only option as a mom for earning some additional income for our family, where my being absent wouldn't affect the family dynamic.
Exactly.
I could be there for everything. The question I didn't ask myself was, what is Carolyn's time really worth?
Oh, that's big. That's absolutely big.
And And what skill sets do I have that
Mhm.
I could offer others that didn't mean I had to work an 8-hour workday for someone else in the
Exactly. Mhm.
cubicle? Uh,
And take your kids with you and do that.
yes,
With you. Wow.
yes, and maybe take my kids with me, or maybe it's something I do at home, but I make far more money in the same 3-hour time block.
Yes.
Uh,
Mhm.
I just wasn't in that mindset, and now because I hadn't been taught to
Mhm.
think, what's Carolyn worth? What's
Mhm.
my time worth?
And
And
time
what
is
skill
money.
sets
Yeah.
have I developed as a mother of, I think I had 2 babies during that time even. I
Wow.
like I, the things that you do sometimes when you think it's your only solution and
I
you look
know.
back and roll
Oh
your eyes
gosh.
and you're like,
Every time I see you and talk to you, you tell me a different story. Oh my gosh, you must have you could probably write a book with stories that you did with
no,
your
but
kids.
and then half of them are so ridiculous. Anyone listening to this would think, I did that for 7 years. We had that newspaper route for 7 years.
Me.
Usually something that's as painful as that and as miserable as that, you are stopping it within, I mean, a year
You
maximum.
know what? I get it. You should have probably asked a better question to get a better answer. But that's a skill too. That's a character. That's tenacity. Oh my gosh, doing that constantly. That's amazing. I bring
Yeah, well, and
it
there's
up
more
to
of
you.
those stories too, but it was hard on my kids. I was getting up. I remember taking this sack lunch to my
No,
4th
I'm sure
grader
they're
because I would
stronger
get
for
back in time to get all of them up for school, make breakfast,
that. Wow.
make lunches for all of them if I had the time, and then get them all to school. And at that time, I had elementary school, I had junior high, and I had high school kids, and eventually I had college as well. So you're like the things I had to juggle for this commitment to this was ridiculous. But here's a question. Here's what in this book, one of the chapters of this book
Mm.
that I found so insightful has to do with questions we can five. It's called the what did she call it? The 5 question. Uh, Give me 5.
Give me
Let's
5.
say you're driving your kids to school. You can ask a simple question that of something like this.
Mm-hmm.
What 5 things do you do really well?
Mm-hmm.
And get
Okay.
your kids to
Like
start
it.
recognizing. They could
Uh-huh.
be good at talking to people. They could be good at helping someone in the classroom. They could be good at, I mean, let them answer what they are, but it helps them to
Exactly.
start thinking about
Mm-hmm.
what I'm good at math. I'm
Good.
good
Yeah.
at singing, or whatever. And then another one that you could ask 5 skills she could barter. And this is where I think it's really important to recognize I had more skills than a newspaper delivery woman
Oh,
at 3
I'm
a.m.
sure about that. That's for sure. Mm-hmm.
And another one is just like with girls in math and going into the technical skills
Mm-hmm.
and studying those, that there are more women doing that, but encouraging them that math is something that they really do use every day. I mean, even
Absolutely.
taking a recipe and figuring out how 3 timesing it, what
Yes.
the quantities are.
Doubling it,
Halving
tripling it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but ask them, what are 5 ways that you used math today? So
Mm-hmm.
that they see some application
Application.
between what they're learning.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is, what are 5 things that you've read outside of school?
Ah, what
Because
a
I think about the
I
phrase.
need those questions. I need to ask them to
Yeah, in fact,
my grandkids. Oh my
we'll
gosh.
create a document that we would have with this. But yeah, because I just think of these simple things. I'm thinking of my son with this, who has 5 children, and the oldest one is 13, then 13, 11, 9, 7, and 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, imagine if you were being challenged to think about these things each day. And here was one I was just talking about with my son. It's 5 pet peeves as a consumer.
Oh.
So here was the pet peeve. There's a Kool-Aid stand on the side of the road. I'm driving by and I stop and they give me this cup filled to the brim with lemonade. What would be your pet peeve if you're going to get in the car? It's going to spill everywhere unless you drink it all right away. So why not at your lemonade stand have lids and straws to put on your
Exactly. On your cup, when you deliver to people.
your cup? And now,
Then maybe more people would stop.
yes, Exactly. But I
Wow,
thought that starts
awesome.
helping people think about, why did people start this business? They saw a problem. It's the same way with real estate. You find
Mhm.
someone with a problem and you come up and offer them a solution. Uh,
Absolutely.
and then here's another one. What are 5 businesses that you've used today?
Hmm. Okay. Nice.
For example, we've started talking a lot about, when we sit down to eat, to be grateful for all the businesses that brought everything that makes up the things
Dinner.
at the table, whether it's the table, whether it's the plates, whether it's the
See.
water in the pitcher, or,
Yeah.
just start thinking of ways of how these businesses are all here to support us in our lives. And it's a result of someone finding a problem and
Isn't it amazing when you start asking good questions? Really, I mean,
yes.
we're not taught to ask good questions. We're not taught to think deep. It's all kind of surface, and it's a shame because we see the result, you know. So
Right, and this was the point of this author is, she says, uh, that there, and this, again, this book is targeted towards things to be teaching young girls so that we can empower them of what they're capable of besides getting married and having babies, which is, it's a beautiful thing. But there is also this vulnerability of girls, young girls, of not really seeing themselves as multipliers, like I was saying, as
love
being
that. I'm going to use it.
really,
I
yeah.
love multiplier. That
Mhm.
should be really a theme. That's awesome. So
Yeah, so let me just finish this one little
go
thought
ahead.
and we
Yeah.
can
Oh,
wrap
yeah.
up, is
So,
that we have a responsibility in teaching them about money, but the purpose of that, of financial things and
mhm,
thinking bigger, is to raise a new generation of confident, responsible, and economically healthy young women.
love
And the
that.
same is true for young men.
Oh,
To
absolutely. But we did say that sometime we see. I mean, it's just natural and course of life that men's more take that role naturally. Not necessarily it's always, but it just naturally happen. And I think it's so wonderful to have that theme: raise new generation of confident, responsibility, and economical.
yeah, and
Big young women. And I think they just can bring their perspective to the table. And then you can imagine what powerhouse can that be? Like when two women brings her thoughts, the men, and then you just build this amazing foundation.
yes, and it's a joint effort in that, and
It
it's
is. It
not
has
just the
to
women
be.
earning money and then giving it to the man to go and invest somewhere. Because I even was listening to a CPA, a woman who's a CPA, and she said, "Yeah, my husband kind of handles the investment accounts." And I thought, okay, well, what if he passes away suddenly? What do you know about his investment accounts? Are you
And I've
really sure
seen,
that his advisor is advising him as well? And it's not that you're second guessing your husband's
no,
capability
no. You
at
just
all.
want to
But
know, be
why
able.
not be knowledgeable as well in where your money's going, what you're both working towards,
Exactly.
uh, and be equally invested in that aspect of your lives.
Yes. Well, that I love it. I absolutely love all those story. That's amazing. I need to start picking up all those kind of. It really is. I mean, it's something that I see more and more and more and more needed for sure. And I know you do too. And trying to start with our children. I actually just had a chat with my oldest one that you know very well. She said, "No, you're right, Mom. We definitely need to start thinking about it soon, very soon, and even start the kids." Because I told her, don't wait, don't wait. Even if just one of you guys can start something, let's start there, and then you can continue, add the kids in a year or two or whatever. But just
Yeah.
start, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking. That it's very important. Well, yeah.
Well, okay, one last thought on starting.
Okay.
I
No.
met this young woman who said, here's what my dad did. Another tip is, they got a little allowance, and every week she and her dad, I think the other siblings, would go down to the bank,
And
and they
then
had a savings account, and she said, we probably only put in $1, but he
yeah,
would match it with $1.
isn't it neat?
And it established that habit of each week they were going there, and that not that we all need to be putting our money in the bank, but it started
No,
one
It's a
little habit,
habit.
which is paying. We got our allowance for whatever you did, maybe it been $5, but $1 of that went towards you in your savings account, and it got matched. So you could watch how money doubles with
Exactly.
uh
Which is
with the
awesome. Which is, we can wrap this conversation to what you and I want to bring to the knowledge for the public, that the opportunity to do that with their money. We're not talking about necessarily banking, but that's a good habit. If
yeah.
somebody already can imagine, if somebody already grown with those habits, they can take it and use it somewhere else, that it's a better option for them.
Yeah, it's something they're already doing and then build on that. But to try to get a 20-year-old that they're supposed to be saving for the future, it can be very challenging for
It
them.
is challenging because they don't have the right mindset for that. So if
Yeah.
you start from the young, oh my gosh, it's easy. Okay, now it's time to do MPI or
Yes.
this or that. This is the time, and they just natural for them. So yeah, absolutely, that's what I need to do. I need to put. I can see that it's how it's like it's a
Just
fight.
introducing those concepts and ideas in our conversations with our children, so they start viewing the world. How many people did I talk to today? Why would I want to go and talk to that person?
Yeah.
What is it about them that's interesting that I might be able to learn from them? Which is instilling the confidence.
Absolutely, isn't it neat to have the kids, even in a safe environment, that they give them like a challenge. You go and ask each of those, pick 3 people in the audience and go talk to them. Go talk to them, ask them what they do for a living, what they like about it, what they don't like about it, if they can give you a tip. What a concept.
Yeah.
What a concept. We're all putting us in like a little box and suffocating us. So it's time to break those chains and think outside.
Life is full of possibility and opportunity, not only for us, but also for our children. And it's not going to happen without some effort on our part to engage in those conversations. And
it starts in the home.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind. And we'll definitely continue those conversations in the future.
Yes.
Another amazing conversation here, and really should challenge everybody, really. Gives food for thought.
Yeah, I told you to do that 5. What did she called it? Give me 5.
When we put the recording on, we should add those.
Yeah,
those children, the parents to do. Yes, let's do that. That would be awesome. I can definitely add them in that. Anyway, it was wonderful seeing you, because we missed last week, because was it a holiday last week?
I think we both just got overwhelmed with life and what's going on. Like everything, if you don't schedule it, it's not magically happen. I mean, some things do, but it's important to us.
Okay. We're trying to be here every Monday, obviously, every Monday at 1:00 Mountain Time.
Yes.
And we're going to put this recording soon, and now, and we'll put those 5 questions for the parents. Yes. Anyway, Caroline, have a wonderful. I'm going to see you next week again. Are you gone? Are you gone?
I am gone.
So I might do something by myself and maybe invite somebody. I might do that, because you're going to be gone for 2 weeks, right?
I am. We're celebrating our 40th anniversary, going to Sweden, which is
you have a fabulous time, and I'm sure I'm going to see some pictures. So yes, have a safe trip, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yep, that's right. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to be ending up, and let's do this. Okay.